All right, now that we've started a sketch, it's time to kind of get in here and work a little bit. So you'll notice that we have our geometry tools over here. So lines, center lines, midpoint lines, circles, either center or 3-point. In the rectangles, we have the traditional corner rectangle, a center rectangle, 3-point, and a 3-point center and a parallelogram. We got slots and circular slots, and then polygons and ellipses and splines are all there. And there's the fillet here. I never do sketch fillets, and so I don't use this one here. We also have our trim, convert entities and offset. So we'll go over this, but for trim, there's multiple ways to do it. I like to use this trim to closest. Just that way I can just click what I want to go away. If you want to try out different options and see how it works, go for it. Sometimes you might want to use one over the other. I just prefer the trim to closest, so I just have that one turned on automatically. So if I start a sketch and I start drawing, let's do that rectangle. So I hit escape just to kind of unselect it, or I could click somewhere else. You'll see my lines that are constrained are black, the other ones are blue. If I grab the corner, I can drag it around. I do have my relations that were added automatically, vertical, horizontal, things like that. And so I can use dimension, pick that, and then make my change. And it's going to scale the whole thing based on that first dimension. And there we go. And then done with it. So it's telling me that my sketch is fully defined now. I can say finished. And I can go out. So now I have this first piece. So now if I wanted to do something else, I can do, so let's say Extrude Cut. I can pick on this face here. And I can go here and I'm going to stay, even without having to convert or project or anything, I can stick on that edge of the part. It knows that it's there, and so SolidWorks will let me use the existing edges of the part for that. So I can create that. Now, dimension, let's get some numbers in here just so that we can get something. And you can see it's showing to me that it's still undefined until I fully define it. And so let's say I want to only go back that far. Now I need to do something else. But so kind of showing you just what the tools do. If I have an edge that's not on the current sketch plane that I want to bring up to the current sketch plane, that's where I use this convert entities. So I can go here, grab that edge, say OK, and bring it in. Another way to do it is just to pick the edge first and then use convert entities to bring it up. Another thing I can do is maybe I want to center these things. So I need to start doing some relations things. So if I right click, I can select the midpoint. I can hold control, pick on that line, and now I can tell it to go midpoint. So move that point to the midpoint of that edge, and now it's here. So you notice that there's no relation showing up, but as soon as I pick on something, it gives me the list of relations that I can add to that one thing. So let's see, I just draw some lines out here somewhere. If I pick two of those lines, it can show me that between those two, I can make those two lines horizontal. I can make them parallel to each other. I can make them perpendicular to each other. I can make them parallel and equal length. I can make them collinear, so maybe I pick this one and that one. I make those two collinear. Oh, it's not going to like that. So sometimes if you try and do things that it can't figure out, it's going to say, hey, and it can't make them collinear because then this line would disappear. So if I make another line over here somewhere, make those two collinear, now they line up. And it does give you this nice little thing that they are connected. I can also pick on it and tell it to be for construction. So now that's a construction line. It's not going to make up the outer profile of something. So one thing you can do that for is if I have this line here, construction, and I make it infinite length, now I don't have to worry about dimensioning how long it is. It does want it to be somewhere. So I can select the midpoint of that edge, pick on that, and tell it to be coincident. But now if I did something over here, I dimension it to that midpoint. If I move my mouse to the midway point, now it's going to give me the dimension overall. So if I was dimensioning between two things, they're equal distant from that construction line. So that's a really useful tool to have if you're doing something that needs to be symmetric, but you only want to draw one and then mirror it later on and not have to do the math of dividing and all of that stuff. So, all right, that's basically the basis of using some of these tools, using the relationships. Getting to a midpoint is the big thing. So, all right, have fun.